like to welcome you all. Thank you so much for taking time to come and join the conversation. For those of you who don't know me, I am Susan R. Appleton, and my platform is designed for women creating space where we can thrive, right? My first part of that was Power Conversations and Connections, the podcast, which is launched. And an offshot of that is Power Conversations Live, which are why you're here, right? We have intimate live conversations where we talk about things that we really don't like to talk about. And Power Conversations is all about talking about life, the vulnerability on the journey to evolving, and really becoming our best selves. This particular live is very near and dear to my heart. A complete term of endearment where I say it's focused on the youngins, right? I look great. I actually look fabulous. But I'm 60, right? And my goal for my platform is to create a space where you all can come and begin to live freer, faster, and with more ease and peace than we did, right? So that was the purpose of this conversation. Because of the audience who is actually present here, I wanted to choose two women who are absolutely coming into their own, personally and professionally, to lead the conversation. I only have one rule, and that is that you be your authentic self. When you have something to say, just say it. Speak from the heart. We leave with a lot of issues still on the table, but we leave with a lot of issues resolved, right? And that's the goal, for us to be able to walk out of here and say, I learned something from someone, or I thought I was in this by myself, but I'm not really, right? So without further ado, we have Shantez Brown, who some of you know, Shan Brown, and Darian Appleton. I call her my sweet D. I don't know if y'all get to call her that, but that's my daughter. So they are going to curate the conversation, and we're talking about what you all are actually doing, which is breaking barriers and reshaping narratives. So without further ado.
Now see, I passed the mic to Darian so she could start. And see how your mama is? Yeah, okay. Hi, ladies. Breaking barriers and reshaping narratives. That's so interesting for people that look like us, for women that look like us, because as most of you guys know, I am a huge Beyonce fan. I mean, woo child. And so how befitting is it for us to have this conversation while Miss Cowboy Carter currently broke a narrative. And she she did an interview, and she stated that she made this album because she didn't feel comfortable at the table. So oftentimes as black women, when we're not invited to a table, what do? We curate our own table. That way so no one can take us away from that. And so we're gonna, Adriana, right?
Yes.
Okay. Adriana, I wanna start with you. Name a time when you felt like you needed to curate your own table because you didn't feel comfortable at a table.
Okay. So, thank you. In Daytona Beach, they don't have a lot of networking events. And I worked for the Volusia County Business Incubator, and that was a room where I felt like I was very uncomfortable. I went to Bethune-Cookman University, so it was a lot of people that looked like us, but at my job, they did not look like us. So I noticed that they was targeting specific business owners as well. So what I did was I created my own table and I started throwing networking events in Daytona Beach. So I do events that involves entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, and then just young ladies that want to be like around like-minded individuals, but not just young ladies, all ladies. And that's what I'm opening up to.
So tell me how you felt.
So I felt when I felt like uncomfortable.
Yeah, when you felt like the table wasn't inviting for you to flourish. Tell me how you felt in that moment.
I felt out of place, yet I felt like I was being challenged to break the narrative. So that's what I did.
Good, good.
I have a similar experience in my field. I was actually pretty new to training and technical assistance, which is what I work in now. But it's kind of connected to substance use and mental health, which is what I've had experience in already. And so coming to a new space, having that background knowledge, but not necessarily having the targeted knowledge that I need for that particular job, made me feel like out of place, made me feel like I didn't necessarily fit in that skinny little box, but I was able to use my background, use my expertise, use the different things that I brought to the table to kind of widen that space a little bit. I felt like it was so narrow, it was so targeted for something that I didn't have experience in. And the more that I learned about myself, the more that I grew in that position, I realized that there was space for me to kind of widen that and create it in my own way.
Okay. And it's funny you say the more that you learned about yourself, you won't stop passing me this. It's funny that you say, Darren, the more that you learn about yourself, because I've learned that at 38, I've probably been 4 or 5 different women. And so each different woman that I've been throughout almost 4 decades required for me to break a different barrier. You know what I mean? And so I realized that the more comfortable I became with me and the more I learned about myself, the less I was willing to take. And so, to Mitchell, name a time when the more that you found out about yourself, the more that you sat back and said, I don't like this and I'm not okay with it. And tell me what you did to change that narrative.
It's so funny because like I'm in the middle of building this ship as I sail it. So
we got a front row seat. Is
yeah,
what you telling us.
Yeah. So
Can you repeat that one more time? Because that was something to say.
I caught it.
Yes.
I'm in the front row of building this ship as I said.
As I sail it.
Yes.
So I'm in the. So I would love to say that it has been created. It has not. And so I will say that what initiated it was I literally woke up and I quit a job, and I was like, so this is not it. And so I, at that point, when I felt the peace about it, what I figured out about myself was that I was no longer scared to go into uncharted territory. And so what I did was cleared the clutter, and I just let God work on that space. Whatever's there, I just kind of let Him just be that. And I'm scared, but I'm scared as hell, but I'm gonna go anyway. And so I'm in the middle of that. And I love who she is. Like, I absolutely love her. And I think that she is becoming, and she's reshaping. And it's a fun ride. It's a fun ride. So there's not really much definition, but I know that I had to kind of start defining who I was first. And I had to stop being fearful about people seeing me. You know what I mean? And so it just... Yeah,
So I'm
that's
interested.
where I'm at.
What is so fearful? What part of this journey are you scared of?
So the biggest part was the uncertainty, because we box ourselves in so much based off of our past experiences, our perspectives, and what we've been through, and then we use that as a baseline for the future. And what I was scared was I was basing everything off of my past, like, okay, well, it ain't worked before, so let me just, but I had to stop doing that. And so that was kind of the biggest thing, just the uncertainty of it all. But now I switched out my lens, and now it's fun. So this is fun. This is fun, meeting new people. This is fun. So it's the year of uncomfortable yes for me. So I'm going to say yes, even though I'm uncomfortable, I'm going to say yes. And so that's the fun part.
I do want to chime in there because you're saying some really great stuff. it took, I'm not going to say forever, but it took a long time, right? To come to the conclusion that I could be good with me if you wasn't, right? And once I got, you said the peace. One of the things that I say, peace is the new rich, right?
Yeah.
When you get peace about a thing, you can move forward, and that is not necessarily a piece that everybody can see, right? But it's yours to own. And I think when you can look at your circumstance and you can see yourself being yourself, then it kind of frees you up and you do it afraid.
Yeah.
You take that chance. So that's really wonderful. I love how you stated that.
Thank you. Yeah. You can be both. You can be both. And I think that's what keeps us down. Is like we're always trying to choose. Like either you're this fearless woman or you're not. But it's like no, I can be both. I can be but I'm gonna go.
In reality, aren't we always?
We're always like
aren't we
that.
always
Yeah.
one of both?
Yeah.
One moment
Yeah.
where I can do anything, and the next moment, ooh, wait, hold on. I'm like, hold on.
This is a lot.
What did you
Yeah.
say?
That anything had an asterisk.
Yeah.
That anything had an asterisk. Darian, I want to ask you, Darian, with you just graduating from college, right? So, what barriers do you see yourself breaking? Or more, let me say this: what barriers would you like to see yourself breaking?
For me, it would be becoming, I guess, that best version. Because growing up, I seen a lot of my family that didn't push themselves to the ability they had to be. And for me, first generation college student, first generation everything. So it's just like,
Can we
thank you.
just stop? Can we just stop for a moment and celebrate that? Can we stop for a moment and celebrate that? There's so much power in being the first, but you were the first generation. However, you won't be the last.
That's
Because
it.
you set a tone for
Yeah.
your cousins or your family that's behind you. So they're like, oh, Darian can do it. I know I can do it.
That's it.
And I think just that wall of like being fearful, like me, I'm gonna talk myself out of something real fast. I will dwell on it and dwell on it. And I'm like, you can't keep doing this, or you're gonna be in the same spot 20 years from now. And so it's just stop being scared. People see the light that you have. Now you have to live up to that. And I found out like over these past 2 years, like when you actually live it up, you are great, phenomenal. You everything that the people that support you see. And it's just like, I'm just trying to get over that hump of the self-doubt or, this might not be for you, try something else. But then I always find myself at the thing that I skipped over. And so it's just being, that fearful wall I got to break and just overall wanting more for myself other than what my hometown can give me. Stuff like that.
Very good. And one of the things you said is living up to what people want you to do or what people see. I'm gonna give 2 comments to that from a seasoned perspective, right? Yes, you do want to kind of make that threshold of what they see. So in other words, what I mean by that, if you're at number 3 and they see you at number 6, you want to climb to that number 6. However, the second and really the most important part of that is define your own ladder. Because the step 6 that they have for you may not be the step 6 that you have for yourself. Get to step 6, but it doesn't have to be the step 6 I want for you. So in the process of building and learning and coming up, your first generation, which is absolutely phenomenal, I want to caution you from letting people hold you to some type of their own standard. So as you build, keep in mind, you have this out for me. This is what you want me to be. But I'm going to kind of do my own thing. and I'm going to still love you, right? I had to say that because so many times we want to meet other people's expectations when at the end of the day, I'm my own person. I'm my own love. I'm my first love. And if I strive to do everything that you want me to do, but it's not my thing, then I'm going to resent you. I'm going to resent me. I'm going to talk my way out of stuff. So if we can marry it, that's fine, but me at all costs. I'm kind of selfish in my life in these days. Like,
And that's okay.
I'm good with what I want to do
Yeah.
and with the support that you have for me, but continue to also keep yourself in mind.
I don't think it's a selfishness. I think it's a self-awareness, right? I think it's okay for you. I think so much we people please. We worry about what other people think. We want to do what other people want us to do, but you're not concerned about what's best for you. What did the Lord tell you to do for you? You know, and then it can come off to other people that you're being selfish because they had in their own mind of what they wanted you to do.
And a lot of times it's their limitations that set the boundaries for you.
Ooh.
So you have to remember that. A lot of times it's just what they could not do.
Yeah.
And so they probably mean well too.
Yeah.
And it's coming from a
And
place
it's
of
coming
love.
from an incredible place. But at the same time, you can be both. You can love them, but you can also be who you are. And don't let overthinking steal everything from you, because that's kind of what I get from you, is that you overthink yourself out of what is on the other side. And if you could just pull your way up out of that and understand that you're gonna overthink. It's gonna happen. But you gotta learn to move and do that at the same time, if that makes sense. Just take it with you. And that's what I tell people all the time. Throw it in the trunk. Just take it with you. Because you move forward. You just gotta take it with you. That's who you are, and you're working on that, but you can still achieve these things at the same time. And everybody's not gonna be happy with it, and that's okay.
Don't make their issue yours.
That, and not only that, one of the things that you said that people see the light in you. Let me tell you something. Don't leave it to people to see the light in you. You are your own light. And if it is one thing that I can tell you to stick to it, sometimes, baby girl, you gonna have to be your own light in the world of darkness. Everything, you're gonna go through things in your life that is going to, it's gonna cast a lot of darkness. See those tears that's rolling down your face right now, baby? Those tears are to fertilize what God is trying to birth in you. You hear me? And I don't even know. God, I thank you. Those tears that you are crying, they are to fertilize what God is going to birth in you. And so, especially since you are the first generation to go to college, you are the first generation to do a lot of stuff. And so you have to be your own light. And I say that to transition to Nicole. There has been a lot of darkness in your life within the last year, okay? And so with the darkness that you've experienced, what have you used to be your light and your drive to continue to keep going?
Someone told me maybe 3 days ago, I did not realize that this is what I was doing, but someone told me about 3 days ago that you have angels, but then there are people that are earth angels, and then there are some angels in heaven that you haven't even encountered that God has assigned to you to keep you moving forward. And so as I thought about that, I thought that I was relying on the light from my mom, but that was the dark place because of how I watched her die. So that's what was the hindrance. But there are angels that were assigned to me that I had no idea that was providing the light that I needed. Because every time I thought about her, and you know that, like every time I thought about, just driving downtown past the Baptist Hospital put me in a, like, okay, what if I just turn around and go home? Because the Main Street Bridge was up, so I had to take the Costa, which passed me by Baptist, which is where she died, which is where I left her. And I'm like, oh my God. But then I thought about those angels that I had no idea that were assigned to me, that I've been drawing light from. And I had to go back and I had to rethink my purpose. Because before the foundation of the world, God gave me a purpose.
Yes,
He gave me a hope and he gave me a future. And when he took my mama, he said, okay, now what you gonna do? You gonna put up or you gonna shut up? You gonna barbecue or you gonna mildew? And so it's those days where I'm drawing for those angels that I had no idea that were assigned to me until someone brought it to my attention. And that's what I've been doing, to pull that light. And there are some people that are assigned to my journey that if I quit, I'm gonna let them down. And I ain't no quitter and I ain't gonna let nobody down.
And I think that it's so
I didn't even use the mic.
you, but you have one in front of
Gave it to
you.
me.
No, you have one in front of you.
And I
Though.
was about to cry.
You have one in front of you. One of the I was reading, it was a conversation back and forth, you know, on these internet streets.
Internet streets.
And it was right. And it was a discourse, a dialogue about whether God actually gives us a purpose or whether we just live life without purpose, right? I didn't engage. I just I'm looking.
observe.
I'm observing, right? Because I believe. So there's no if or ands or buts about me. I believe. So therefore I believe I was born with a purpose.
Absolutely.
Right? But when you said that, it reminded me that there is something that pulls on us, right? When we have a belief. And one of the things that pulls is either darkness or light. And we always have a choice, which we'll follow. And we oftentimes will follow, we can follow both, right? I mean, you've had instances where you go down this road and you just go in, you know, and then you have instances where there's light. And when I thought about the conversation, when I thought about each of you, knowing you and not knowing you, but watching you on social media or having interacted with you, I felt like there was, to get to where you are, there has had to be some very intentional barriers broken. Very intentional reshaping of what you think I am, you being society or, you know, those people. So I'd like to hear, what have you purposed? What are you purposing to do as you go forward, as you begin to reshape and, you know, break down? What is something that needs to be readjusted so that it aligns in your favor?
Well, what I'll say is, lightness or light and darkness cannot exist at the same
At
time.
the same time.
So that's just thinking about Shantez's question and your observation. That is probably where I'm going to move forward. I got to keep reminding myself, and I can remind anybody else, that you can't live in darkness and have that light at the same time. You got to find, whether you are, you know, it's midday, the golden hour, whatever it may be, you got to find that spot. And, you know, so I'm thinking about what you just said, and I guess me finding that spot and finding that, reshaping what I thought my purpose was. And it's a paradigm shift also. It's a paradigm shift, and it's just a figuring out of things. You know, I think it's similar to what you said. It's a figuring out of things.
Courtney, you've been quiet. I want to hear from you, your point of view.
Sorry, I'm a little nervous.
That's okay.
That's okay.
First of all, I'm just grateful to be here. I think it's just such a beautiful event. But I was thinking similar to her, also first generation, graduated. And then also when I went out to graduate school, I was challenged with, I got pregnant. And so I wanted to make sure that I still graduated. and I did that 6-month-old, still graduated early. And then all of those challenges, having him, when I was early on trying to get my first job and having, issues with my son's father in a town with no family. I mean, I've overcame a lot of barriers. Some things I may have put myself in, a lot of self-doubt, a lot of dark days. And then just one day realizing I'm so sick of living like this. Like it's so depressing. And then realizing that I have more control over my life than I realized. Stop being a victim. And probably within the last year or so, just coming to realize who I am, especially as a woman, as a mother, who I want to be. And I feel like I've always excelled in things that I've tried to achieve, but always looking at the result and never really enjoying the journey. And that's just where I am now. I have a lot of things on my plate, but just enjoying the day to day, embracing I think one of the biggest things when I was living in DC was just wanting that family connection, and realizing here in Florida, my sister's down the street, my mom's down the street, and I was thinking, I'm the first person in my family to have like a corporate job. My grandma, she created her own business. My mom created her own business. My sisters helped them in those businesses, but I kind of went a different path, and I'm okay with that. I'm just slowly growing. I'm still in the process. I'm 28. I still have a lot to learn, but I'm just really enjoying the process, and I'm not trying to force anything. I love taking photos, so just holding on to those memories is something I didn't do when I was younger. I just was just in the grind, where am I going to find my next job? Where am I going to get money? Where am I going to do X, Y, Z? And now I'm in a stable place. I think that's what I was looking for, stability. And now when you're in that place of stability, now you can say, now I can enjoy things. Little yoga, walks, talking on the phone.
Silence.
It's not always about just trying to be here and going there and staying there. Sometimes you just need a breather. But it is nice to be around women like this who are obviously excelling in life and with their families and in their careers and in their personal lives. So I still have a lot to learn, and I just appreciate you all just being here.
But don't miss the moment. That's what I'm hearing. Don't miss those. Don't miss the moment.
Yes.
I'll be 47, and there's so many more. I'm listening to you. That was me. Always, my goals were like ridiculous. I was an overachiever and went to college prep, and I missed a lot of moments because I would check a box and it was moving on to the next. So don't miss the moment. Enjoy. Enjoy.
And I love I always tell everybody to find, I don't read, but I always tell everyone to not tell, because I can't tell you what to do. I encourage you to find your thing, like the photographs, right? Journaling is my thing. There's very little that I do every day, but that's one thing that I do every day. And it helped me, and it also helped me to slow down and really to hear you say, I'm enjoying the process. OMG. I had no idea what a process was. It was like you had to go get it and then go get the next thing and then go get the next thing and go get the next thing. So I don't know, didn't even recognize where the barrier was breaking, whether it was going or whatever, because it was just, woo, made it, let's keep going. And I think you all are now really embracing non-hustle culture. Because we were hustle culture. And hustling has a different definition now. It includes that, right? It includes that slowing down and not just enjoying, but seeing the process. But for us, it was just go, 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 go. Because if you got 3, I had to get 4. And if you got 5, I had to get 6. And there was no stopping in between. And so I agree absolutely with Nicole. Enjoy the pieces.
Gwebby. Yes. You don't. Nobody tells baby no. Nobody puts baby in the corner. Hi, Gwebby. How are you?
I am great until you called my name.
Oh, so you thought you was gonna sit back there? Oh, you thought you was gonna sit back there and be cute?
I did.
No, ma'am.
I did. We were over. Nicole had said so much. I was like, she said it. It's nothing else left.
Tamisha had said it.
Girl, for real, y'all had set it up. I was
So, Gwebby, my love. So I want to know emotionally, what did it take for you to look in the mirror and say, no more? You know, because for those of you guys that do not know, Gwebby comes from a very rich African history. She's an African American. She's a beautiful girl, beautiful story. It's not my story to tell. Whenever she decides to share it, she will. But I want to know, what was the emotion that derived when you looked in the mirror and said, no more, I want better?
So, being African American, literally, you know, there's a cultural difference. So people always acknowledge when you have a multiracial or biracial heritage, but it's nothing much different than having a bicultural heritage. I just want to be comfortable. I want to have my day out. Now, at the same time, that causes complacency. You know, if you're in a place too long, you can get complacent. Things can get stale, and that's not what I was built for. I do believe when I moved to South Georgia, God sent me there to make some changes to the community and the town, and I affected change. I made some positive changes to that community and impacted a lot of people there. But there was a time when I was to move on, which is what brought me to Jacksonville. But at the same time, I'm still about, you know, peace of mind. I think that oftentimes society and culture and people pressure us to live up to certain goals, do certain things, embrace what other people's standards are. We've kind of talked about that tonight. And so for me, I just encourage people to live your truth. You know, what makes you comfortable. Set your own standards. As Susan said, you know, set your own ladder. I love that. I actually put it in my phone. You know, just to determine what makes you happy. You know, where are you trying to get to? What do you need to do? Life is so different from me now. You know, being here is very different from any life, you know, my life for the past 46 years. I'm going on 47. This is a different life, but I'm cool with it, and I'm comfortable with it, and I'm happy. And now I'm just like, I'm Gucci. Like, I'm really good. I'm Gucci. Right?
I'm Gucci.
But yeah, no, it's just a time when you decide, you know, like, it's not selfish, self-awareness. Like, you know, I have to care about what I think more. People put themselves first, right? So if I put myself first, why is that like a bad thing? And it's not a bad thing. It's
I think
self-preservation.
we have to grow into it.
Yeah.
I think we grow into
We gonna fight.
putting
Shan.
ourselves.
We gonna fight.
Okay, Mom.
Oh.
No. I was busy. I think we grow into putting ourselves first because there's a part of that we have to reconcile in the fact that if I put myself first, that doesn't mean that I'm putting you second. Like, my thought process at that very moment is not, if I put myself first, I'm going to put Daria second. It may be a byproduct of it, but I was doing a podcast the other day. I released a podcast the other day, and I was talking about free yourself and enjoy your life, right? And when I was talking about some of that, I realized I was saying some things that could have come across as selfish when you're in relationships. So what I meant, you know, and I said what I wanted to say, but even in a relationship with a husband or someone that you love, you still have to free yourself. I still have to be okay with me. It doesn't mean that I'm not okay with you. It doesn't mean that I don't value your time. And so what I wanted to make sure was we understood is that we have a responsibility when we're attached to another person. You can't just go rogue.
Mm-mm.
You know, hey, I'm doing me, and you know, I'll see you when I see you. Yeah, no, that don't work, right? But there's a rhythm, and there's an okay with me being okay with me, and that doesn't mean that I'm not okay with you, if that makes sense.
All this is.
I was just gonna say, I feel like I am also coming into that space where I'm learning about myself and I'm becoming okay with putting myself first, especially as a mother. I feel like my child, like, she's always a product of whatever thought I have. It doesn't matter what the thought is about. She's always attached to it. And so I had to remind myself that you are more than just a mother.
Oh, God.
You are more
One more
than
time.
just
Say that one more time.
you are more than just a mother. You are more than just an employee. You are, like, you have your own dreams, your own purpose, your own goals. And it doesn't even have to be attached. My therapist says all the time, you're such a performer. It doesn't even have to be attached to anything. You have your own you. Like, you have things that you enjoy that don't require anything but for you to go to the beach and lay out in the sun. And that's okay for me to, if I decide I want to go to the beach and lay out in the sun, I can do that as long as she's taken care of and not feel guilty about it. So I've kind of had to, I'm still in the process of reframing my own mind and kind of reprogramming my own mind to be okay with the fact that I can put myself first. And like you said, it doesn't mean that I'm neglecting my child or I'm neglecting my responsibilities to my job. I'm just kind of prioritizing my mental and emotional well-being, because if I don't, I'm no good anyway. I'm not a good mother anyway. And so I've kind of had to come into that process, and I'm still learning and trying to be okay with, coming to a place of acceptance.
No, go ahead, baby.
I was just going to say really quickly, I wish that when I was in my 20s that somebody would have told me that my purpose was portable.
Okay.
And I wish that somebody would have said, stop looking for this big aha moment, and this pie in the sky, and that's your purpose, and that's what it is, and it's stagnant. It's not. It is so portable, and it goes everywhere you go, and it's fluid, and it's whimsical, and it's fun, and it's flexible, and it cries, and it laughs, and it's purposeful. It cusses. It makes you a mom. It makes you having to watch your mom pass away. It makes you that your purpose is portable. You changed the community in Daytona. You changed the community in Georgia. Your purpose was portable. So you just take it wherever you go. And I wish somebody would have told me that, because I was like, Lord, what is my purpose? Oh my God. And I spent years doing that.
So I don't know if you are a woman of a certain age.
I'm 43.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that us women that are in our 40s, our purpose, we looked at stuff different back then too. So that's also why I am applauding these young ladies.
Because they're finding it early.
Yes, and they have an opportunity to not be stuck to the purpose that we all but like my mama was like, or my daddy was like, okay, you going to college, and they told me I'm gonna be a lawyer. That wasn't I draw clothes. You know
right,
what I'm saying?
right. Right. This is what I want to do.
And do it real good.
So I, again, in our age, and like when I decided to walk away from my 6-figure job, my mother thought I had lost my mind. My daddy thought I had lost my mind. But these young ladies have an opportunity to say, I can make my 6 figures another way. It's not tied to it because it's portable.
It's portable. I can take it wherever I
respect when I watch. I have, my mentees, when I watch them, I'm like, again, I want you all to understand. I'm gonna use that vernacular, put that in my vernacular.
Yeah.
Baby, this is portable. This is flexible. It's changeable. It's fluid.
Yeah.
And we wake up tomorrow and say, okay, I think that I want to try something different.
Do it.
And it's okay.
Do it. Do it. Do not use the word, that's not me. Don't do that.
It's okay.
And it's like, don't ever count yourself out over the first time that something failed. Like, just because it failed the first time doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to work. You just got to keep on going.
That's what hypotheses are.
Come on. Come
Controls
on.
and variables.
Uneducated
For sure.
I think it makes.
Come on. Right.
If when.
And I think that brings me to, something I want to discuss. And at this point, I actually want to hear from everybody at this point. I want to talk about boundaries. And I want to talk about boundaries as a Black woman while you are breaking narratives and breaking barriers and reshaping narratives. Because not too long ago, we just witnessed how they tried to humiliate a Black woman and tear her down because her coochie was on trial. Let's be honest, because it was her coochie that was on trial, not the actions. Because they wanted to mitigate or diminish from what a president did. So I say that to say, right now in the space that you are in, what boundaries are you having to set, or what boundaries would you like to set to continue to break barriers and reshape your narrative? We're gonna start with Darren.
Interestingly enough, I have to set boundaries with another Black woman.
Ooh.
Because I'm in a space where I've created, like I expressed before, I've created my own lane. And this particular person that I work most closely with, for whatever reason, she doesn't like that. I don't know if it's intimidation. I don't know, what it may be.
All of the above.
But I have, what I was telling my supervisor was, I don't know if it's because I'm coming close to 30 or what, but in my personal life, outside of the work environment, in my personal life, I'm no longer, like, what I don't want to tolerate, I'm just not going to tolerate.
I mean, and it's a no.
And I'm used to being a team player, kind of playing it cool, keeping the peace. I don't like confrontation. No more. Because what I'm not going to do is come into my work environment where I enjoy my work, I want to excel, and have you stifle that. And so I've had to set very firm boundaries with another Black woman and remind her, hey, I set this boundary. I don't know if you didn't hear me right or if you thought I forgot, but let me remind you again that this is the way that I'm moving forward, and you just have to adjust. And so I think that it's important as Black women to be aware of the people in your environment, even if they look like you, even if they seem like they're on your side, even if they seem like they're on your team, and just kind of, like Jalen said, have that self-awareness to where it's like, okay, I know who I am, so now I can read the room a little bit better, and I can act accordingly.
And because I know who I am, I know you don't know who you are, because that's why you're treating me the way that you are.
Right, basically.
So I'm setting boundaries with my family and my friends, and the biggest thing I've had to learn was that you cannot change nobody. So I understand now I can't change nobody, how they act, how they treat me, but I'm going to set that boundary for you to know what I'm going to accept and what I'm not going to accept. And I've had to do that with my family mostly, but even my friends. Another boundary I'm setting is I like to pour into people and try to get everybody to win and stuff, but I'm saying that some people just don't want to win. So why am I wasting my time doing that when I'm trying to, like, get you to care about these things and you don't care? So it's okay. I'm going to care, and I'm going to do it. And that's just that. So that's the boundary I'm working on.
And I've learned that the people that truly love you and support you, they understand your boundaries and they respect them. And if they fleet away, then they probably weren't meant to be around anyway. So.
And that's that part of confrontation. Like, I think we look at confrontation as a bad thing. But
I welcome it.
But it's not. Listen, but it's not. It's me me coming to you about an issue or a subject, and I am talking to you, and we may have opposing opinions about it, but it's okay.
And
like
it may be intense.
It may be intense. Like my degree is in communication and conflict. That's what it is. Conflict is inevitable because we are different people coming from different cultures and backgrounds. It's okay. It's how you handle the conflict that makes the difference. Can we be adults and talk this out? Do we have to swing on each other? Let's try to not allow that to happen. But we know it happens, right? So.
What? I'm not opposed to swinging on you. Let's just be clear. Yeah, no, physically too. No, verbally or physically. Your peace depends on how you move, and I'm okay with that. How you respond, because I'm all for an adult conversation. Like I said, I welcome confrontation because I really feel like confrontation allows you
to resolution.
It does.
It only leads to resolution if you are willing, if both of you guys are willing to receive resolution. But if you're focused on the conflict, nothing that I say is going to resolve it.
That's my point. It doesn't necessarily lead to your resolving it, but it leads to resolution. And whether you accept it or not is really on you.
I see
You know,
what
like
you
just
did
people
there.
all the I'm not responsible for how you receive. I'm responsible for how I say to you what my boundaries are and how I communicate how you violated my boundaries. If that's the case, if we're talking confrontation. However, you don't have to receive it. You don't. But I resolved the issue.
And I'm okay with it.
And I'm okay with how I resolved it, and then now you got to do something with it going forward.
Now you be blessed.
And if we are to resolve it collectively, then you have to partake in coming forward, because I've already stated, you know, what that means for me, what that boundary, you know, constituted for me. It took you a minute to kind of come to grips with, okay, yeah, that's what she really meant. So now I need you to just come back and circle back, and we can clean it up and move forward. But I've resolved it, right?
I think boundaries for me right now would be in the workplace because I drive trucks. So,
Wow.
then,
Okay, queen. Yes.
so yeah, men act like they know it all because that's what they've been doing. And so a lot of them very disrespectful. They make it seem like, oh, you're a woman, you don't know what you're doing out here. But I guarantee you I can back this truck in quicker than you can. And then it's also like some black women that be at these warehouses and taking us in. It's like, oh, they see another black woman driving. It's like, well, she thinks she better. Or so they'll try to ignore us and then take care of the men. It's just like, no, baby, I'm finna stop all this until you give me my paperwork and then you can handle them. So it's just trying to be professional, but also like, you're not about to play with me, especially I'm an 18-wheeler. Come on now. She's like, play with somebody else.
I'm so proud of that.
They heard you.
Right, they heard you.
I wanted to say something. The boundaries that I have is for myself, right? Because I know that I can go over and beyond for everybody but myself. I can go over and beyond
Yes,
for
get out my business.
listen, for like you said, my husband, my children, work. I find myself giving church, giving so much to so many people, and pouring. I think I said it the last time we did the first one, pouring from such an empty cup that I have had to just step back and say, okay, Jalen, it is time to focus on you, because I can't say anymore, oh, well, they just using me. No, you're allowing them to use you. So I've had to really roll back, look at myself, put myself first, and say, okay, Jalen, it's okay to say no. So I think the boundaries were for me more than anything.
I'm still in a place for certain things that are kind of coming to my mind where I am setting those boundaries and sticking to them. Like I said, within the last year, I've come to a lot of self-realization about certain things, and I think I had a lot of internal conflict of saying, what is it that I want? You can't set a boundary until you know what you want. And when you're in that wishy-washy place, it's really difficult. And now I'm kind of focused on one thing. Like I said, I'm enjoying the process, but I'm still defining my boundaries. Now, there's some things, don't play with, but
Yes.
in certain circumstances, I welcome it. I'm like, oh, I like a little bit of pushback because it challenged me to think things that I didn't even know that maybe I wanted or I could do, or I'm specifically thinking about workplace challenges, even with my son's father having custody in between two different states, and what does that look like? And Webby said about what you will accept. I think that is something where at one point in time I was just accepting a lot of things, being, well, this is just the way it is, feeling so powerless. And now I'm like, no, I have a little bit of power, and the things I don't have power over, let it go. Because it's nothing, if I can't resolve it today, why am I putting so much energy into it? And so I'm still learning and growing some of my boundaries. But I'm enjoying the conversation and thinking, the workplace, especially when it comes to, the opposite sex and things you will and will not put up with. Don't do that to me. Them little girls might play around with, don't come over here with that. Don't come over here with that. And so, in being firm with it.
No, and I love it
Yes.
because I'm not them.
Exactly. I think for me, matching my words with my action,
Yes.
and sometimes just letting my action say it all.
Period.
Some of y'all might scuffle. I don't scuffle. I'm calling 911. Like whatever it may be.
I see you with I got too big. I get tired. I'm old now. I get tired.
But no, I'm enjoying the conversation. Again, I'm still learning my boundaries, but it's nice to hear some of those who are with age and with knowledge just, dropping a lot of gems that I'm like, I am 28. What can I take from that? What can I do that's different? Enjoying the beach and not feeling guilty. You want my passwords down?
We have two more for boundaries. They think they're going to get away. Oh, y'all thought y'all was going to say that?
I mean, the conversation was amazing.
I wanted to, I wasn't cutting you off by any chance.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah.
I could be quick.
You guys have
I could
boundaries,
be
but
quick. My
you know,
boundaries.
I love the fact that you're learning.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're learning your boundaries. That's such a powerful term because that means there's somewhere to grow and there's some things that already exist, right? When you're open like that, when you're pliable and you understand, oh yeah, I got this piece, but maybe, okay, I could go to school on this one. That's such a beautiful thing because there's growth in that, right? And with growth comes, when you where I am, where you see, it's not even is what it is. It's just
It is what it's going to be.
bruh. I don't know what you're gonna do. Bruh.
That's a whole statement.
It's a whole
Period.
statement. It's a
And
whole
Courtney, you said
statement.
something so powerful. You're like, sometimes you just gotta let your actions speak as your boundaries. Like, I could tell you, or I could just behave accordingly. Yeah.
And that reinforces it for you too, though.
And Courtney, too, let me just say this, Courtney, you and I are 10 years apart. I'm 38, and you're 28. And here's what I can tell you. This is my season of enforcing my boundaries. And when I say, because I am a person who is, I'm a care bear. Like, I'm a love a lot bear. I really am. I'm a love a lot bear. Like, I want to love on everybody. And but also in the aspect of me being a love a lot bear, I'm also hell too. I play patty cake with the devil if you play with my heart. You see what I mean? And that's on whatever sector. But even with me being that way,
She means that too.
I mean it from the bottom of my feet. Yes. And so, but even with me being that way, it was the people that I love that I had a struggle with boundaries. But the last, I would say December of last year, I said, oh no, no more. And so we've finished the first quarter of 2024. And when I tell you I'm waving my boundaries flag everywhere, my husband, my kids, my job, my mother, anybody in my life, hey, no, I'm not doing that. And when I tell you, the only thing that I can tell you, Courtney, keep learning them, keep pushing them. And guess what? A boundary today may be negotiable tomorrow. And that's okay.
And you know what? And I'm almost 20 years above you.
Yeah.
Just 1 year shy of 20 years, and I'm still establishing boundaries.
Yes.
So I agree with what she says that, you know, it's a process. Your purpose continues to grow.
Portable.
Yes.
And it changes.
Yes.
We think about seasons.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
if we think about the natural, it's seasons. You have
Four of
winter,
them.
spring, summer, and fall. And I would challenge you to journal your life during these times,
Yes.
because you'll see, okay, well, what season is this in? And winter isn't always, people associate winter as a dead season or a dormant season, but there are many flowers that bloom in the winter season. So think about the season that you're in. So this may be a colder season for you in your life, but this may be a warmer. Then you get a little rain, but rain promotes growth. It cleanses the air. Then you get the summer, you get the growth, and then you going into the fall. The leaves are changing and falling, but it's getting cooler. Like think about your life from a cycle standpoint, and know that each season there is growth, but there is a shedding away, and it'll bring you some comfort. It'll bring you some comfort.
Because that's what the voice was giving me. Where are my notes?
Because that was all.
We can stop that.
No. You and Nicole, y'all got to get y'all boundaries.
No, right, because they just said it all. They said it all. I will say my boundaries just really started with me, like you said. I think once I started identifying my emotional landmines, and like the things, like my triggers, my landmines. Because when you start recognizing that, boundaries will automatically show up anyway. So you don't necessarily have to start off with this, like, you can say, I'm not taking this anymore. But until you start really internalizing and finding your own landmines, like your family was your landmine because you did everything for them. They triggered you because you know you love them and you want to do everything for them. And you see the potential and it's not working and it's not coming to fruition. And now you're mad because you wanted more than they wanted. So that is an emotional landmine. But if I start saying, you know what, let me just love you from where you at. And I'm gonna also tell you no too.
Come on.
Then that's gonna just create a boundary anyway. So I don't really have to focus on trying to fight this big old fight of you know what I mean? Because that is a part of it too. But I had to learn. Okay, T, this is where you start crying. Don't do that no more. Stop. This is where you start raging. Stop it. So I had to start putting myself in time out, and that's when the boundary started being created for everybody else. So
Awareness.
yeah, you're just aware,
You gotta tap
baby.
Well, come on.
But even sometimes before you get to that emotional awareness, you gotta do some work.
You have to do the work.
You have
And
to
this
do
is
some
3
work
years
to
worth
get
of
to
work for
that.
me. This is a bunch of work. This is 3 years worth of books, 3 years of telling myself no, 3 years of saying I'm not arguing with you about this no more. 3 years of saying this is trivial. I don't argue with stuff like this no more. I told Shan that. There's just certain things I'm not going back and forth with you about because it's trivial. I'm not going to worry about this in 3 days. So I'm not worried about you not putting recycling out. I'm not doing that. That's energy. That's energy I don't have to spend. I'm not doing that. That's stupid. I don't care. Put your
Because
socks
it go
on.
out on Thursday. Because it go out on Thursday.
Every Thursday.
Why is you running out the door and
This
he's
is my
Every Thursday.
Every Thursday.
You see how triggered I got? You see my landmine? You see my landmine? You see how that
That's
works?
how you forgot. And it's 5:30 in the morning.
And you hear the truck. And the truck
You gotta run out
outside.
there.
And then you jump
And
up
now
and
you
be like,
jumping up in your
oh,
drawers talking about I gotta go get my.
Like, we've
Here
been
you
doing
go.
this for 7 years.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
And then we lived on the other side.
I ain't talking about
It's
nothing.
the same.
I'm talking about trash.
So when you came home, you didn't see everybody else trash can out.
You didn't see recycling? You didn't see none of that?
13
Context clue.
You didn't see
You
it?
ain't see that?
Listen, y'all y'all just wait for it. Okay.
Keep living. What they say? Keep living.
Keep living.
Shan almost
I still have to tell you all my boundaries.
Yes,
So I'm living in a perpetual state of red light, green light, go. That is where I'm at. I'm living in a perpetual state of red light, green light, go.
I love that.
The red light first.
Yeah.
Right. All bets off at this point in my life.
Right.
And then once I feel it, it's a green light, and then it's a go. But it's always gonna be a red light. It's always a no at this point. I'm almost 47 years old. I don't care. I will mop the floor with a toothpick before I count. How you feel about me? It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's a stop.
Wait till you get you go. It's really going to evolve in a minute.
I heard.
By the time you get back to my side.
That's it. That's all I got. Red light, green light, go.
I love that. So,
I'm still in that.
so some of the takeaways, right? Emotional landmines.
Yes.
Red light, green light, go. I love that. Okay, red light, green light. Purpose is portable. I'm still learning my boundaries. I might be a first everything, but I'm not going to be a everything to everybody. Right? I am breaking barriers. When I don't have a table, I'm going to create my table. What I want to say is, this is the vision. Right? Y'all be patient just for a couple minutes. This was the vision that God gave me when he told me I was going into new wine season, right? And in this season, new wine is maturing, so we're evolving more and more. But this is the purpose, for us to collectively get together from all spans, from all different levels, corporate, entrepreneur, a mixture of both, mommies, non-mommies, all of us giving and sharing, and just really learning to evolve. I think the biggest takeaway for me that I want to leave you with is none of us gets to any point unless we do the work. Yes. You have to define the work for you. I can't define that for you. But I got here through much work. A lot of success, don't get it twisted. And a lot of work through the success. So as you all sit and you've engaged authentically, without reserve, I want to thank you for joining the conversation and making it real rich, right? And if we were not out of time, we would continue with the recording, but we're going to cut the recording. But I want to thank you. And I want to ask that you be pliable and open to continuing the conversation. And to Shan and Darian, you guys, big ups. So you didn't answer boundaries. You did not.
But I don't even remember what the question was.
The question was, we're going to wind up, and our last question that I want to hear from everyone is how you're navigating boundaries in this particular time in your life.
You thought you were going to get away.
I did. Oh, you messy, baby. You messy. What I am doing is, my mom and I were reading a book about boundaries. I knew the things that I went through last year. I knew boundaries needed to be set for my peace. Because like you said, peace is the new rich. And so I'm trusting my no's in this season. And that I've never done that. My no has been a no asterisk. No comma. No maybe. No, well, here's why. And I've negotiated my no into a yes. Oh, wow. And then I got an attitude. Right. Now I got an attitude because I negotiated my no into a yes, and you didn't treat me correctly. And I didn't want to do it anyway. but that wasn't nobody's fault but Shantez's.
Correct.
Because I should have stuck to what I felt originally. If I said no, I mean no. And so now, at this point in my life, like I said, the first quarter is done, and my no is a no, and I don't play about it.
Right.
My no is, and that goes for my children. That goes for my husband. When I was getting ready to walk out the house, he said, "What we gonna eat?" I don't know. Bye.
Figure it out.
Heavy on the figure it out.
Don't forget that trash though. Okay.
On Thursday. Matter of fact, today, because we leave for Jamaica tomorrow. Do it today. But my no isn't negotiable, and I'm okay with that. Even with my children, I said no. That's it. So it's just not allowing. That's it. But sometimes we got child.
Mom guilt.
My churn, not mom guilt, because I don't care about mom guilt. No, seriously, I'm heavy on fucking kids, and I know that may be offensive, and if it is, I'm sorry. But I'm able to. I'm sorry, you guys. That may be offensive to you guys, but that's my truth, and that's what I was getting ready to say. I'm able to say fuck them kids
because you're taking care of.
Because my kids well taken
fine.
care of.
Yeah.
So when I say fuck them, like I will in just 24 hours, I can say that because I done put the barriers in place for them to be taken care of. So I have an opportunity to be self-aware, as Jalen said, and just be Shantez.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to drop the mic on that.
Yes. Well, again, thank you, ladies. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for joining the conversation. All over social media, please follow Susan R. Appleton. Power Conversations and Connections is now a bi-weekly podcast. Visit, subscribe, please. And visit the SRA store where you can buy the merchandise. I'm wearing one of our shirts which says, "There's beauty on the other side of fill in the blank."
Yes.
Right? So let's go live. Thank you, ladies, so much. I appreciate you.